Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Yeah, and tonight, some exciting live news, video live news, and also just a reading update for the month so far. So stay tuned. Okay everyone, so you probably noticed I'm bathing in a different kind of light tonight. I received a beautiful gift from my brother-in-law, a brand new light with thousands of settings and different colors. So if I look green or blue or pink or whatever tonight, we're just going to go with it because we're still trying to find out the best combination. I think it's a little bit bright, maybe soften it a bit, but we're going to work that out. So yeah, I'm just really grateful to have some decent lighting. Maybe it doesn't seem so tonight, but let me know. And yeah, let's get on to the books. First of all, I'm reading at the moment Cannibal Creator by Chadlutzke. The reason I'm reading that book right now is because I've got the author on my show tomorrow night, Saturday night, and I am super excited because this is one of our favorite authors, one of my favorite new to me authors, and yeah, we're going to chat about books and horror and all sorts of stuff. And I've only just started this book, and I know that it kind of pays homage to the old 70s, 80s cannibal films, which he apparently has a bit of a soft spot for, which he says in his foreword. And I'm really just over the moon to have him on my show, so guys, please tune in. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. That's going to be fun. Okay, let's just get to two books I've mentioned already. That's Graham Masterton, The Sleepless, and of course Speaks the Nightbird, Robert McCammon. Now, I've already spoken about both these books in my previous updates. I'm not going to talk about them here, except I'm going to say I love this book. And I'm looking forward to carrying on reading the whole series. It's a Matthew Corbett series. And I'm reading it along with Nikhil from Esteem. And we're going to go through the whole series. Just brilliant. And yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about those two books. I'll give a little bit more info on my wrap-up at the end of the month. Okay, the next book I read this month was The Sea Was a Fair Mistress by Calvin Demmer. Now, this is a book of not so much short stories, but more flash fiction, kind of shorts. And most of the stories are not really more than 4 or 5 pages. There are some exceptions. And I loved a lot of them. And I'm only going to really mention, I've marked off quite a few that really had an impact on me. And he's got this gift. And even in the really short form, and he grabs you, and then at the end of the story, it's just like a kick in the guts, a kick in the nuts, a kick in the teeth. It just really gets you right at the end of the story with something that totally surprises you. And the stories I'm going to mention, it's 27 of them. I've just chosen 3 here. And I think at the end of the month I'm going to pick a whole lot more. And the first one is Restroom Finds. Now this takes place, there's anarchy in the world. He creates that situation very, very early on. And there's a shortage of food, there's anarchy, there's fun. And welcome to Africa, everybody. There are some frogs mating again. We've had that before, so I'm going to talk over their mating. So welcome to Africa. Anyway, in Restroom Finds, this guy goes scrounging for food or supplies, and he ends up in this restroom. And in the first stall, he finds a man ripped to pieces. Basically, chunks eaten out of him. Yeah. The second stall, he finds this girl that's bleeding. Pretty much a victim. And she's got blood all over her. So he sets out to take her away. Rescue her, whatever. Not going to say what happens. Just brilliant. And the second story is Hangman, where a security guard sort of is roaming the school at night, and he comes across a special class called Extreme English Lessons. And guess what they're playing inside? Hangman. and guess who's the focus of their attention? Not going to go more than that. I've never read anything like it. It's really interesting. And the third story is Noisy Neighbors. This was my favorite of the whole collection. And it's basically this old man who has these incredibly noisy neighbors. They play loud music at night, and he never complains. And I'm not going to say more about it than that. But this story was a kick in the gut. And just brutal, and I loved it. Yeah, so I highly recommend this author. And that is The Sea Was a Fair Master by Calvin Demmer. You've got to love his cover in this beautiful light. Okay people, this next book, oh my word. I'm still thinking about it. I finished it this morning. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, by Ken Kesey. Now, I don't know what to think about it. Like the first third of the story, it's kind of struggling a bit. But this book is kind of making me really think. Let me just tell you very briefly what it's about. I'm not going to give a review now, a full-on review, but I think this book perhaps does deserve a review. A spoiler-free section, a spoiler section like I used to do. This book packs so much. And very basically, it's about a psychiatric hospital, a psychiatric ward, whatever, in the 60s, the early 60s. And these, I'm not going to call them inmates, they are patients. And yeah, they ruled over by an iron fist. And this lady, I think Nurse Ratchet, and yeah, she's authoritarian, she's mean, she's actually kind of cruel. But yeah, she has this ward completely under her control. Even the doctors kind of also a little bit subservient to her. And then enter a new patient, and that is Matt Murphy. And he is a redhead Irish American. He's loud, he's brash, he's sexist, he's misogynist. He's a drinker, he's a swearer, and yeah, he's a gambling man. And he shakes things up in this ward. And then begins like a battle of wills between the nurse and this new inmate. And it's brilliant. But just be warned, as I said, it's product of its time. It's set in the 60s, and there's a lot of racism, sexism, but I think it goes through a lot more than that. And I watched the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie with Jack Nicholson. But this book is better. And one of the reasons, one of the ways in which it is so much better is a narration. And in the book it's told from the perspective of this half African, Native American, this giant of a man, who acts like he's deaf and dumb. And he kind of sees everything that's going on in this ward, with the doctor, with the nurses, with the patients. And everything is told from his perspective. And the fact that he is got serious mental issues himself, he's withdrawn from the world, but he's kind of schizophrenic. And when you read this book, and in his head, and some of the passages, this book is 250 pages, but for me it read like it was 500 pages. There's so much meaning, there's so much symbolism, there's so much stuff in every single paragraph. It's difficult to explain, people. And yeah, this chief, this half Native American, and he has these like kind of, I wouldn't call them visions, that he has this break from reality, where he sees this hospital life as this machine. And there's this imaginary smoke, and he needs to withdraw into the smoke because he wants to hide. He wants to lose himself instead of going out and seeing and seeking and hearing. Okay, I hope I'm not giving spoilers away. I don't think so, because I haven't really told you about the story. But yeah, it had an impact on me because of mental health, and I suffer from some mental health issues, and a lot of this story really spoke to me. And it's about the individual, and it's about Matt Murphy being an individual in the face of society and in the face of conformity, and acting up and refusing to just kind of sit there like a good boy, like all the other patients. And it's very true that in the 1950s and 60s, mental health, mental institutions weren't really there to look after patients. And a lot of them, it was about to just keep them passive and to make sure that people behave themselves. And by doing that, they give out pills just to make you kind of calm. They're not going to help you. I mean, this Nurse Ratched knows stuff all about mental health. She's not there to help the patients get better. She's there to make sure that they're under the thumb and they don't misbehave. And she plays nasty games on them along with her help. These black guys, I'll say it like it is, this book is racist. But yeah, whew. And yeah, I mean, if they don't behave themselves, there are other threats besides the pills. I'm not going to go into that. This was a very powerful read about conformity, about individualism, and about, the system, the man. And I'm thinking about it still, and I want to read it again, and I want to give a proper review. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that. That is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Okay people, I just want to add about that book. Here's one more thing. It is not an easy read. I toiled through some of the sections, but it is a book that deserves to be read slowly and to take in everything slowly. I finished this book in a week, which is a long time for a book that is 250 pages. But I really enjoyed it. I really took a lot in. There's so much stuff in every paragraph. So much symbolism, so much meaning. The characters are so well realized. You really feel for them. And it's a book that is uplifting in parts, joyous, like kind of laugh out loud, funny, and at times sad and tragic. So it put me through the ringer. It's well worth a read if you can bear in mind that it's written in the 60s, which turns a lot of people off because it is misogynist as hell. But if you can look past that, this is a true classic. Okay everyone, so that's my video for tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you've read any of those books. And be sure to drop a comment down in the spaces below. And I hope to see many of you tomorrow night as I have a chat with one of my favourite authors, new to me authors, Chadlutzke, who's written one of my favourite books of all time, Skullface Boy. So yeah, hope you tune in for that. But until next time, take care of yourselves everyone, keep those pages turning, and cheers.